Trailblazers brought back a lot of their most prestigious alumni from one of their best periods of basketball, the 90-92 two-era teams. And, in that group, you had, if they are still with us, unfortunately, those era teams have lost 4 players. Rick Adelman was there, and he's been brought back into the fold. That started last year when they had Rick Adelman night, when the Denver Nuggets came to town, because his son, David Adelman, formerly of Lincoln High School, but also on the now Denver Nuggets coaching staff. It's a big deal for them. And it was a fun little line if one of the media members asked Rick pregame, will you cheer for the Blazers tonight? He goes, pregame, I will. Afterwards, absolutely not.
Well,
it's my son.
Yeah, of course.
But it was in a world of like such political answers. It was super cool for Adam to be like, "It's my son, man." No,
it would have been really funny if he did the old like, "I'd really like them to tie."
Yeah, but no, I like to see the loyalty. Just like you're there,
right?
Obviously, Terry Porter's there. Unfortunately, Jerome and Duck and Cliff. No longer with us. Members of their family were there. Cliff Robinson's twin sons were there in his place. I thought it was really, really, really cool that they brought in family members to represent those guys. But the biggest, most popular, most famous, most, arguably the greatest player in franchise history, Clyde Drexler, was not present. And it was not lost on a lot of people. And Kerry Eggers, who's got his own website up, kerryeggers.com, has a story up right now. Why didn't Clyde Drexler attend the celebration? And he had his reasons. First and foremost, his wife has been going through cancer.
Yeah, and it sounds like she's
doing better,
recovering well.
And
I hope I'm not speaking out of turn.
But no.
From reading the story, it sounds like she's on the mend.
All reports that I have heard that things are going great, and we love to hear that. In this, Kerry Eggers talked to Clyde Drexler because he has that relationship from covering the team during that period. And he says that Clyde told him that Terry Porter called him a couple months ago and told me they're thinking about doing this reunion event. I told him about Tanya, his wife's situation, but said as it gets closer, let me know. Clyde then told Kerry that he didn't know the date of the event until I called him on Tuesday. And, Kerry reached out to the Trailblazers, and he says, a Trailblazer official told me that Drexler was extended an official invitation with a date well ahead of time, though when I asked, he wasn't sure how the message was delivered, whether it was by mail, email, text, or phone call. It does seem hard to believe the Blazers wouldn't have made sure the poster guy from that era, arguably the greatest player in franchise history, was invited. Still, that is what Clyde told me, and that's from Kerry Eggers. There is a sordid history here.
And I don't think, even like as someone growing up in the area, that I realized how sordid it truly is.
So these are Clyde's words from Kerry Eggers' article. They dropped the ball, but they have dropped many balls. Again, this is straight from Kerry's website here again, kerryeggers.com. Go there, read it. I don't want to take everything from it, but I just want to take a couple paragraphs and just set the table here. Drexler has antipathy for at least a couple of aspects of the Blazers organization. For one, he believes executives have paid little attention to the franchise's former players over the years. He's not the only former Blazer to feel that way. I have talked to former Blazers from that era, and it's yes. I will say clearly and totally, the Blazers dropped the ball for a long period of time. Terry Porter, TP was like one of the only guys that you saw around. Maurice Lucas, when he was still around, was also still around the organization, as well as the work that his son David now does as part of the Lucas Foundation efforts also continues strong. But you didn't see those guys when they are around. You didn't see Duck. You didn't see Cliff. You didn't see Buck. You didn't like TP was like one of the only guys that you see. When I did Outsiders. During the playoffs, we brought in Darnell Valentine, who was in an era before that, but he was another guy that, if you ever get a chance to meet Darnell, incredible human, love talking to him, but there's just not a lot of guys, and it sucks because that era was, you're talking about, the true dyed-in-the-wool Rip City era that took off after the 77 title team and was the next most successful part of the franchise. There were stretches where that team was the second best team in basketball for probably about 4 years. And they just came up short, unfortunately. I mean, they had 2 finals appearances against the Detroit Bad Boys and against Jordan's Bulls.
Right.
Like that's who they lost to.
You lost to 2 of the better dynasties of
Ever.
NBA.
Yeah.
Right. Like I was gonna say of that era, and then it's like no, it's NBA.
You could say
it's
ever.
NBA. I mean, like that Pistons team literally beat Boston Celtics
and
Lakers and the Bulls all to win those titles. Like
they went through the gauntlet.
Unfortunately, you were always a bridesmaid, never a bride.
And the same thing happened with the 99-2000 team when they went up against the Lakers. It was the 2 best teams in basketball were the Blazers and Lakers. That Western Conference Finals was the finals, as it were, as it pertained to the 2 best teams in basketball. But those, you don't see a lot of those guys. Like, do you see Rasheed around? Do you see Damian around? Do you see Steve around? Do you see Scotty around?
Never.
I mean, obviously Arvydas.
I don't know that you want Scotty around.
Well, I mean, you know what I mean. Like,
yes,
Arvydas is in Lithuania, so you don't see him around very often. But it's tough.
I think from a younger fan's perspective, coming through with a team that, like, I obviously not alive for those teams, right? I think that's why there's a lot of anger and animosity too, I think, from a younger fan's perspective, because the fans of my age, the new generation, the Gen Z that are coming up, it's Dame, and then some of the older crew like me, it's B-Roy and LaMarcus.
Yes.
Right? Like we remember those. Those are our favorites. But how often even is Brandon Roy around? And I know LaMarcus just retired, but he's not around.
There are efforts being made to bring him back in the fold.
And hopefully that they do for both of them, because that's a key to teach the future generation of fans.
The history of the community stuff, it matters.
Look at what we did look at what these players did for this community, right? But I also think that it can be a good thing because NBA players, past and present, they all talk to each other. And if you treat them the correct way, it's possible that maybe down the line, hey, there's a role player that had a connection because they played with Jace Richardson at Michigan State or whatever, or they know Jace.
They
from
take care of you,
AAU, and they're going to take care of you. They're going to have you back. They're going to have the statue when you leave. They're going to have the tribute video for you. We all make fun of it. We all think it's stupid, but it's nice to be remembered
it's ego,
and to be treated right,
and it matters. And I don't mean that in a negative connotation. Like, look, I'm a fan of one of the most dysfunctional organizations in the NFL.
Right?
Guess what? Once a Raider,
always a Raider, and they take care of you.
Every single one of them.
And people always talk in NFL circles about how it is truly special to be a Raider, even when they suck.
Does not matter.
Even when they suck.
Look at John Gruden and what he went through from his own doing.
Twice a Raider.
Watch him when he talks about the Raiders. He won a Super Bowl with the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
He got traded from the Raiders.
He is a Raider through and through because of the relationship they make. And this is where this starts to deviate, right? The part of this that Clyde says is the problem was one ownership with or Paul Allen, but Burt Kolb, who is the vice chair of Vulcan, and helps Jody Allen run the Trailblazers right now, and basically he lays everything at the feet of Burt Kolb, and this is the part of this. And Clyde says he has no bone to pick with Cronin, who's been the Blazers GM for the last 3.5 years. And he flat out says, I've had conversations with Joe, and he seems to be a nice guy, but he can only do so much. Until the franchise is sold and they get rid of Burt Kolb, they will struggle. And that's where it's like, okay, this feels like an axe being grinded. Clyde wants to look, I love Clyde. Clyde is literally the reason I started watching the Blazers when I lived in LA. I've mentioned this before. First ever basketball game I went to was Blazers-Lakers at a Lakers game growing up in LA at the Forum. I just happened to move to Portland 2 years later. Okay, it just literally a coin toss. My family was going to move to Dallas or to Portland, and we ended up going to Portland. Okay, but that was my favorite team because I watched Clyde play. This feels like ego because his coach got fired. Rick Adelman got fired and he demanded a trade.
It didn't end well.
Back to Houston. It got nasty. And it's like, I get it, Clyde. You want to come back. But if you're sitting here waiting for the organization to be sold on your terms, then it's not about the fans. It's not about the community. It's about you. And I love Clyde. You've got a street named after you. You'll probably have a statue built out there when they head down that path. But at some point in time, man, swallow the pride and get it done. If you want to come back, come back. If not, stop. Stop this. Stop with the whole jilted lover thing. You wanted to go to Houston. We all know that. You're from Houston. You were on TV post-career for the Houston Rockets. You played for Houston at Phi Slamma Jamma. Houston is your home. That's cool, man. I'm okay with that. But you don't get to have it both ways. Either come back or don't. Don't sit there and well, it's because of this. Do you want to come back? Then come back. Swallow your pride and come back.
Well, and he's going to want to do it the other way. He wants to be, and this is a thing that a lot of people do now, is the victim is the wrong word, but he wants to be the one that is viewed as the wronged party.
Yes. And if you want to come back, though, who knows when the team's going to be sold? And look, this is the dark side of this. We've already mentioned there's 4 guys from that era gone. Do you want to come back before something happens?
Unfortunately, that might be the only way. How often do you see that in just real life?
Thankfully, Bill Walton and the Blazers reconciled.
Yeah.
And Bill had real beef because of the way his injuries were handled.
Real fair beef.
Yes. And Bill came back. So figure it out, dude. I want him back. This is not dismiss Clyde Drexler. He is on the Mount Rushmore of greatest Trailblazers. There's no doubt about it. None. You cannot tell the story of the Portland Trailblazers without Clyde Drexler. He is one of the tentpole figures of this franchise's history. I want him back in the fold, and I want a statue in Rose Quarter for him. Him, Dame, Bill, Sean Lee. Those are the 4.
That might be the only way you get him back.
But let's say that Jody Allen and Burt Cole build it. Is he going to come back? And if he's holding that over their head, man, I can't believe you then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's either you do or you don't.
You want to come back on your own terms, and in your own terms, you should have a statue. Because he doesn't have one in Houston, correct?
I don't know.
Maybe at the college.
Yeah, Phi Slamma Jamma, they're
for sure.
They're gods there.
For sure. But so maybe that's what it is. And he wants it. He wants that statue. Because think about it. When you talk about all the other organizations in basketball, they have the statue. Hey, you are the best player in the organization's history. But you have the statue, right? Even if it looks like Ronaldo's, you have the statue. And so maybe that's a part of it for him, where he feels like his ego is hurt and he shouldn't have to come back until he is given that statue. Because, at one point, you have to look at him and, if he's not the best player in Blazers history, he's the second. Yeah. So I just thought it was interesting. This is the last line I'll go, and we'll get into the next segment here. This is from Terry Porter. Clyde hasn't been back here in a long time. Everybody has tried to get him to come, but he has some feelings about people in the organization. I think that tells you everything you need to know.